Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Takedown, a Splitting Hairs podcast brought to you by Jackrabbit Illustrated. And on this podcast, we focus on South Dakota State wrestling. Once again, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Jordan Schoenrack. How you doing, Jordan?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Not too shabby. And hopefully later we'll be joined by our special guest, Cade DeVoss. Sounds like he's just tied up a little bit, and hopefully we'll get in. Today, we're going to go over a little bit what's the upcoming duels, and maybe we should talk about, we could probably talk about the national championship a little bit, perhaps. And the other thing we got to make sure we do is thank our sponsors. Once again, this year, we have our title sponsor, Drake's Place out of Bowdle, South Dakota. Drake's, you can go there. It's more than just a convenience store. They have liquor. They have food that is of this world. Their food is excellent. I know Brendan always talks about how their pizza is the best in South Dakota. I don't think that's an oversell. I got some of his pizzas here a while back and brought them home and cooked them. They were fantastic. This year joining us, we have Dakota Iron. John's a great guy. Contact Dakota Iron for all your heavy equipment needs. They can get you skid steers. They can get you excavators, front end loaders, things like that. They dig deeper. Contact John, and he's in the Google machine. So with that out of the way, I know you're doing all right. Are you still riding the high a little bit from the national championship? I know I was pretty much till today's news.
Yes. I am still riding the high. It was a fun weekend down there. And it was a very interesting time and very great memories until, well, today's news did not kill the great memories. It is still a great memories, but we're happy he went out that way.
For those of you that aren't aware, or maybe perhaps live under a rock, Coach John Stiglmeyer, who, if you want to see, we interviewed last Sunday, and that's up already. Announced his retirement, and Jimmy Rogers is taking over as the head coach of football. And yes, this is not a football podcast. That's true. But Jordan was unaware, actually. So I was the one that sprung it on you. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news, sir.
No, it's all good. I sat down to watch Longest Yard and shut my phone off for a while, so I missed that. But Cade did text me. He's jumping on right now. So
okay, great. Why don't you give us an update on the team season this far? Can you do that for us?
So it's been a while with football and everything. We kind of kept wrestling to the back burner and let them have their spotlight here. And so for the wrestling team, their record is currently 7-2. They're 1-0 in the Big 12s. Their only duels against Cal Baptist. They headed out there and wrestled them the same weekend we were all in Texas, and they shut them out. So they have not given a point up this year yet in Big 12 dual action, and it could be interesting on Friday. If everything goes the way that we all hope as Jackrabbit fans it does, we might be 2 duels and 0 points given up for duels.
Right.
We have the team has 2 losses. That is to Minnesota and Nebraska. They are currently ranked 11th and 13th in the country, and that is sorry, Kate texted me again there. That is both of them matches were 1 loss or 1 match difference. We needed to pull one out to beat them, and unfortunately things didn't go our way there. The team went out to Cliff Keene and had a heck of a tournament out there in Vegas. Ended day 1 second, almost tied for the lead. And then they ended the second day third. Chad, Cade was wondering if you could resend that email link to him.
Oh yeah, certainly can. You know, what's really funny too is, and I think you know this, but I was literally at in Vegas during Cliff Keen. Like not that first when we really were doing well. That wasn't when I was there. I got there Friday night. They started Thursday, did they? Or
Yes.
I got there Saturday. I want to say I got there Friday. Anyway, they had a lot of success, and I told my wife, I was like, "Hey, you know, we stayed at a ghetto hotel. Anyway, it was terrible. It was off the strip, but it was right down the street from the convention center where this was going on. I literally had to walk by the place to get breakfast my first morning there. Couldn't get the wife to bite."
But you got to listen to Garth, right? Is that who you went to see?
No, it was the King of Country, George Strait.
Oh, George Strait, even better.
Even better. He was high on my list of people I want to see before they quit touring. So
That's good. Yeah, that was a heck of a team performance out there for SDSU in Vegas. Like they really set a lot of upsets and that kind of stuff. And as we talk later in this episode, you'll see that they have a lot of rematches coming up here against Utah Valley, or a couple of rematches, I should say, against Utah Valley and Wyoming there, between matches that have happened earlier this year between Vegas. And then we sent some kids to the Soldier Salute in Iowa, and our 157 pounder, Kale Swenson, he was in the finals, lost that. I know we had a couple other kids in the finals too, I believe.
Yep.
But that 157 pound match will be a rematch on coming up this weekend too. That should be a really good one.
yeah, that'll be a great match. Why don't you text me Cade's phone number quick? I'd gotten it from Jeremiah at one time, but I'm going to try and send it to him that way. I don't think he's getting it. Sorry, folks. There's some technical difficulties, and if you ever watch the B team or the A team, you'll know with me at the helm, there's always going to be some technical difficulties. But yeah, that was pretty great. Why don't we talk a little bit about the wrestling room's finally open? That's quite the deal. And I know we talked on one of our earlier pods about how we're going to do kind of a deal, kind of a video to show people around that facility. That's still in the Jim Poppins says garage time. Well, yeah, it's always garage time when I'm here, Jim. And Jordan, I don't know if you know what garage time is. I sent in a comment once when I was traveling down the interstate in road construction, and I misspelled garbage time. So everything is now garage time when we're in, So tell me what your thoughts are on that while I try and send this here.
Oh yes, that wrestling room. I have not been inside of it yet, unfortunately, but from pictures, it looks amazing. I remember coming here as a high school student and middle school student to SDSU team camps and wrestling in the dungeon and stuff like that. And like just as a fan, as an alum of SDSU, as a huge supporter of SDSU wrestling and all that stuff, like I couldn't be more proud for this team and these guys that did it. And the best thing about it is, the people that helped build this wrestling facility are actually still going to be here due to COVID. Like,
yeah,
you got the kids. When Han came in 5 years ago, he really started that. You can say Bono did, but we'll laugh at you if you want to say that one. Han's the one that really backboned this together, and he built it off the kids that are still here. And I'm glad to see that the kids get to reap that benefit. And I'm excited to get in there and do that tour of everything. And hopefully we can get that done here pretty soon as they get all the little things tidied up. And that should be an interesting podcast on the road for you guys.
Yeah, and we plan on, if all things go right, we've got lined up some drone footage as well, and so we should have a pretty cool thing going there. We're gonna work with coaching staff a little bit, try and tell the story for them, and Jordan Kearns, I don't know if anybody knows him, is going to help out.
Yes, he's actually just starting his own photography business. Jordan Kearns is, and he just, I'll give him a little shout out here if I can find it. He just started his own face or Instagram page with his photos. A lot of them are from Dallas that he put on there. I do not
Oh yeah, did he have a lot?
see us from there, but he's pretty tech savvy and pretty good with his photos. So that's going to be
Sorry,
a fun thing for him.
sorry, everybody. Please bear with us as we try to get Cade on here. So just texted him the link. So it'll come from a different number than he's used to, but I mean, comes from a Rapid City number. So hopefully he got that link and can get on. I don't know why we're having such issues with his email, but my apologies to everybody. So while we're waiting on that, what's that?
Maybe he's been on too much. The email just is like, oh, this is a repeat. He's been wrestling that good.
Yeah, well, he's been a great member, a great guest because he's been on. This would be his third time, and we love having him. He's great to talk to. Yeah. So why don't you take over the next portion here a second?
Okay. And also with that,
there he is. I think I just heard him pop on.
Perfect. With that,
there
we go. What's up, guys?
Hey, Cade.
Sorry that took so long to get to you. I
good.
sent it to your same Jack's email that I sent it to. I don't. We've been on the podcast now 3 times. So
yeah. No, you're good. Don't worry about it.
What's up, my brother?
Not too much. Just getting ready for weigh-ins tomorrow, but that's about it.
What's your? I'm assuming you have some kind of standard like
pre-match
procedure.
Routine.
Yeah, like what's your routine that you go through?
Well, usually it's right now it's pretty like standard just because we're wrestling every weekend, but we wrestle live earlier in the week and then we'll kind of go light on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday is more just roll around, and then I usually go with on those days before competitions, I'll go with Brady or Sloan. But yeah, we just kind of roll around. Not much live on those days. Besides, like before you wrestle, you want to get your heart rate up. So we usually do like something quick and hard. Nothing that's gonna like exhaust you before your match. Like nothing like too crazy, but yeah, pretty standard.
And here I was thinking like your routine in your personal life. Like, is there a meal that you always eat? Or
oh yeah,
I had one in high school.
Yeah, no, I eat the same things. No, I eat the same things, like the same things. But it's the thing is I love what I eat, so it's like I'm okay with eating the same thing. Some people like it's kind of funny.
Do you want to share what that is?
Yeah, so I eat like I'm a big like I'll eat red meat in the beginning of the week, and then I'll eat like chicken or leaner meat towards the end of the week, and then I always get I'll eat a source of protein, and then I'll get like a really lean carb, or not lean carb, a good carb like potatoes, rice. Sometimes it's mainly potatoes are the good ones, sweet potatoes, and then I'll have some oatmeal in the morning, but like just really good carbs. And then before I wrestle, it's quick carbs, so like honey. I didn't really start taking honey before this year, but like just literally pouring honey in my mouth 20 minutes before I wrestle, because it's like so it absorbs so fast. And fruits too. I've never been a big fruit guy, but since I've been eating a lot more fruit during this year, I'm like, oh man, fruit's actually really good.
Yeah, once you start eating it, you really crave it, right?
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, like it's really just those things. And it's kind of funny because I always go, like even during Christmas break, I went home and my parents are always like, we're making this. And I'm like, man, I can't have that. They're like, what's wrong with that? I'm just like, I can't have it. And they always try to like my mom was like, oh, can you have this for Christmas? Can you have this for Christmas? I'm like, Mom, you guys just make whatever you want. If I'll just cook my own food, it's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Just like trying to involve me. But yeah, it's important to me. And I really do think it plays a big role in my wrestling and just how I feel and my weight management and all those things.
So what else was you were going to tell us something funny about your normal routine and weigh-ins?
Oh, Oh, that's the thing I was gonna say. I was gonna say my parents are always like, what the hell? Like my mom will be like, she'll have like some bread, and she'll be like, do you want this bread? And I'll be like, no, nah, Mom, I'm not going to eat bread. She's like, oh, what are you going to eat then? I was like, I'll just make my own sweet potato, like that kind of thing. And it's just, I think people really misunderstand me sometimes because of it, especially in my family. They're just like, what got into you? Because when I was in high school, I would eat anything. Like it was like pancakes, peanut butter, Nutella, whipped cream, put it all on there. I don't care how many calories it is, how much sugar is in it. You know what I mean? But in college, I mean, it's different. If you want to be the best, you gotta try to do everything right every single day. And
I think you'll find as you get older, you can eat less and less garbage.
Oh yeah,
more and more consequence. Because I'm kind of proof of that. Anyway,
yeah,
you got to keep that stuff out of your body. But I'm not good about it because pop tastes good and so does beer. So. Just to straighten things away, you're still a pre-pharmacy major. You're a junior,
mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yep.
And you have, I believe, 2 years?
2 years after this. Yep, 2 years after
keep you for both of those. Obviously, you're from Altoona.
Mm-hmm.
2-time state champion in Iowa at Southeast Polk. Right?
Yep.
And then Jordan, I think.
So, you were 2019 Greco-Roman Fargo champion, and you placed second that year.
Mm-hmm.
Little random question. I didn't dig deep enough to find the brackets. Did you lose to the same kid that you
No, I wrestled. So the thing about Fargo is a lot of kids, they'll wrestle freestyle and they won't wrestle Greco. And I mean, I get it. A lot of people, because you're never training Greco. Let's be honest. Like, well, most people are. I mean, there's an exception, but most people are training for freestyle, and you're having you maybe have 7 Greco practices that whole summer. You know what I mean? But no, I lost to Patty Gallagher in freestyle, and then I beat some kid from Florida in Greco. But no, it wasn't the same person. I was actually not going to wrestle Greco. I was like, man, I do not want to wrestle Greco because you have to make weight again. And it's like, I don't want to do all that.
Yeah,
it's Greco.
So are you a guy that makes weight and then eats a meal and then maybe just a pound or two over after the meal, or are you a little bit lower than your weight? Because I know you used to be what,
57, yeah.
Right? Yeah, and so that's maybe talk about that change, because that's been a big change, hasn't it?
Oh yeah,
tell us a little bit
change.
About that.
Well, I was 57. I didn't really know how to manage my diet. I was trying my best. I mean, I was trying my best with. I probably should have asked for a little bit more help and did a little bit more digging. I feel like the change in my diet has really been myself looking into it and just realizing, and other people telling me how important it is, and just actually doing it myself. Like, you have to actually start, you know what I mean? You can hear all these things, but you actually start. But it was, I mean, even though my diet was not good, like 157 was not healthy. Like, I just did not feel healthy at that weight class. So, I mean, it was either, go up or, stay down. And I was like, man, I want to actually feel good. I want to wrestle good. So I did everything I could to go up, and I like lifting and I like gaining a lot of weight. But it was making sure, like, especially from last year, during the end of the year, I got really light. So I was weighing like 176 at the NCAA tournament, like normally. And I was just like, and that was the thing that I did bad last year, was like 57. It was hard for me to keep my weight down, but then 74 last year, it was hard for me to keep my weight up. And that was towards the end of the season. So it was like, really, like, I've had, even though 57 was hard, 74, I still had struggles at 74 with my weight, keeping it up. But this year, I mean, I've done very good. I can keep my weight up. And a lot of people have told me too, like, especially my family, they're like, oh, you look a lot bigger this year. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I look a lot bigger and I feel a lot stronger. And that's just like, it's hard to, 2 weight classes, it's hard to fully grow into that in 1 year right away. You know what I mean?
Right. When I first saw that, I was kind of surprised. I'm like, what? 70? Mm-hmm. What? Wasn't he 57? So obviously year that's helped you put on some lean muscle mass then.
Mhm.
So that's good, right? And like you said, it's great to feel healthy. We were talking about Fargo. I was curious, do you have any advice for kids going to Fargo for the first time, and like what would you change if you could redo it there?
Yeah, I think the big thing is don't respect anyone. Like really, no, at these big tournaments. I mean, you see it at NCAAs too. Like the seeds don't matter. If you're wrestling the second seed, or the first or second round, like go out there and wrestle as hard as you can. And there's so many upsets at Fargo and all these big national tournaments. Like why not you? Like why can't it be you? But other than that, I mean, it's a really long tournament, right? So it's like you got to make sure that you're understanding that it's going to be a grind. Like you don't want to walk in there and be like, oh man, like let's just go have fun. It's like, okay, yeah, we can have fun when we're wrestling, but this tournament's going to be a grind. And if I want to get on the podium, I'm going to have to grind. And that was like my junior year, my first year of juniors. I lost in the round of 16 and had to wrestle all the way back. And my eyes were blown up. My ear, I'm pretty sure I had my cauliflower started going out again. I was like, yeah, this tournament is not fun. And then I had to wrestle Greco with headgear the next day. So, yeah, no, I just say go wrestle hard. I mean, it's a tournament where you're going to wrestle good kids. You're going to test yourself, and win or lose, if you're wrestling hard, win or lose, you're gonna improve in some aspect of wrestling. You know what I mean? Win or lose. So
With Fargo being a summer tournament, how do you even like train for that really when you're in high school?
yeah, I mean, it depends on where you're at. Like, I'm fortunate enough to go to like Polk, where summer wrestling is super important there, and we had practice. It was called Iron Rams Club. That's what the club was called. But we would have practice all the time. But like, I know there's like a lot of kids in small towns that maybe all the kids are playing different sports. Because I know like a lot of smaller towns usually have the kids are like in 4 sports. You know what I mean? Like when I was in high school, it was like I had football and wrestling before high school, and I was like, okay, I'm wrestling. I got to choose one sport. But I know like a lot of these, and I've learned this from like the camps, but like a lot of these small town kids, they really like to go in a lot of different sports, which is fine. But like I feel like they don't wrestle a lot in the summer, but wrestling in the summer is like really important. And if there's not someone you can wrestle with, like I'm sure, grab your dad. I don't know. There's always someone you can wrestle with. You know what I mean? There's always someone that you can call up. But I mean, if that's making the sacrifice to drive 30 minutes or whatever, but I mean, I was fortunate enough to have a really good program, but I know like sometimes it's not like that.
Is there some high school kids that come to JWC, or is that strictly college?
No. So some of the JWC's practices, high school kids can come to that. I'm not sure on all the logistics about it, but I do know like there's some high school kids that come in there, and for that too, it's like, hey, if you're a high schooler, like I know a lot of high school kids from South Dakota, and they come in and they just get their ass beat, and it's like, hey man, like you don't be down on yourself. Like it takes a lot of balls to come in here and wrestle, with these kids, and you're gonna get better from it too. Like
Right.
You're gonna get better from it, and yeah, I do really like as a college athlete. Like when I see kids that come in here in high school, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like I respect that a lot, and yeah, I didn't start wrestling. I didn't go in the college room until August, my first year of college, and got my ass beat for 3 months. So, everyone goes through it.
So did you used to roll with Jeremiah then, your dad?
No,
No, I don't
to,
really see that happening.
The last time I wrestled him, it was in the living room, and he wanted to go, and I grabbed his leg, picked him up, and threw him on the couch, and that's the last time we wrestled. So
He's still laying on the couch?
No, yeah, he probably is right now. Actually,
Yeah, right now
he's probably laying on the couch, upset that the Dolphins lost. So
yeah, he's a big Finns fan. I got
Yeah,
him
he
on
is.
Snapchat.
He's a big Finns fan.
There are some of those around. It's kind of strange, but
Mhm.
you talked about big town, small town. Altoona's like 20,000 people, so it's not real big, but you guys are right in the greater Des Moines, Des Moines area. So Southeast Polk's definitely not small. It's a fairly big school, but I got a question in here that I gotta ask that Jordan and I talked about. You don't know the McCarls at all, do you?
McCarls? No, I don't think so.
They're into racing, so Jordan and I are both racing fans. Knoxville and that. So I'm sure you're familiar with that.
I watched the old man rip a shirt off a 18-year-old kid this summer at Huset, so thought maybe he comes around and scraps every once in a while.
Oh no, God, that's funny.
So sometimes it's really hard for people, and you've got a very difficult major, right? How do you handle balancing the student role as well as the athlete role? And tell us about that, and maybe let us know what you think of Brookings, because you've been there long enough now. I like the place a lot, obviously, but
I mean, it's definitely difficult. I mean, you go through stages of where you're like, okay, school's fine, and you're like, man, I do not want to be here. Like, for example, the start of the semester, I was like, I do not want to go to school, because you have those 2 weeks off where you're just training wrestling, and it's nice because all you're doing is focusing on wrestling. And then when school starts, you're like, man, I don't want to involve that in my routine. Like, I like just wrestling, I like wrestling for a living. That's all I want to do. But, it's hard, but it's also different for different people. Like, for me, it's a lot easier for me, I would say, than some of the other kids on their team. Like, some of the other kids aren't as good at certain things, or, don't learn good in certain environments. Everyone's different, but they might have to put in more work or whatever than other kids. But for me, I found it pretty decent. I mean, I'm still not the best at it. I still have a lot to improve. I still get lazy sometimes with it, and but I don't know, I try my best. I definitely need to get going, because I've been slacking a little bit this syllabus week. Yeah, I'm just like, man, I do not want to go to, because it's crunch time. You got wrestling. It's March, and the big goal is to be an All-American, and it's hard. It's hard to think about school and be like, it's not like, I know it should, like, it is one of my goals to get an education, but it's like, for me, just wrestling, I only have this
hard to branch your focus like that, right? Like,
you
can focus on this or you can focus on that. It's really hard to focus on both.
And it's like, I only have 3 years left of wrestling in college, and it's like, I can either, you know what I mean? I don't want to waste those 3 years. I want to actually do everything I can, or try at least. So
let's just point out that this is an NWCA Scholar All-American and academic All Big 12 wrestling first team talking here. He does worry about school, even though he's playing it off a little bit.
I do.
Yeah, probably worry about it so much that your slacking's better than most not, right?
Yeah, that's people actually give me crap about that. They're like, because I'm a big procrastinator, and they'll be like, hey, did you get the assignment done? Some of my buddies are in the same class as me or whatever, and I'm like, oh no. They're like, oh, it's due in 3 hours. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get on it, and I'll do it, and then we'll have a test, and I'll get a better score, and they're just like, dude, what the hell? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's just, this is how I am, I guess.
The good thing for you, this podcast is so popular that I think 0 of the coaches watch it. So
that's good. No, I've told them. The thing is, I'm pretty honest with the coaches. So I've told them, I've been like, coach, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't go to class today. And they're like, oh, dude, they obviously are not happy about it, but.
So with your school and everything about Brookings, like, what is your favorite part about being in Brookings?
My favorite part is probably the people and the relationships that I've experienced and gained here. Like, I would say from the past 2 years, I feel like our team, especially, we've like become so much more bonded. Like, the first year I was here, it was just like like we were never all together, and I feel like our team this year, especially compared to last year, like we're actually watching, like cheering, like we want each and every one of like our teammates to be really successful, and I think that feeds off it, and we also like expect more from each other. You know what I mean? So I feel like relationships are big, and just getting to know people and making friends. I mean, most of my life is coming home, eating, sleeping, training. So I'm not really talking to a lot of people outside, the wrestling environment. But I guess I'm okay with that.
Jim Poppin would like to ask what your favorite memory is as a Jackrabbit so far.
Okay. My favorite memory was probably I would say it was against Little Rock when I got a fall, and I'm not a big pinner, and I got a fall and I stuck my tongue out. And I got a lot of people are like, what was that for? I was like, I don't know, man. It just stick my tongue out when I'm happy, I guess. Yeah, but so now everyone always jokes with me now. They're like, if you ever get a pin, you have to stick your tongue out every time. And I'm like, okay. So hopefully we'll see that sometime soon.
So I got a question. You kind of talked about the coaches and being honest with the coaches about going to class and that kind of stuff. What were your thoughts when Brady decided to go back to Penn State and wrestle? And how did that earn more respect for you towards Coach Hahn letting him do that, showing that he's got everybody's best interest in life?
Yeah, I mean, Coach, the thing about Coach Hahn is he really does. Like if I believe something, like he'll be like, even though he may have a different opinion, he'll still be on your, like, got your back. You know what I mean? Like he'll still be behind you or whatever. And like when it did suck when Brady left, because I felt like, I mean, this was right after I won the Southern Scuffle, and he would been working with me for a while, and I would say he was probably at that time the most the coach I worked with the most. And when he left, it kind of was like, oh man, that sucks. But it's also like, hey, like if you're in his shoes and you still, and I knew how good he was too. Like he's excellent at wrestling, and I knew he could do it. So it's like, hey man, like you have that opportunity. Like I would take it too if I were you. You know what I mean? So even though it maybe was like in my self-interest, I don't want him to leave, I still supported and was happy for him that he went and did that. And I mean, he was back real quick, so it felt like, at least it felt he was back real quick. But yeah.
Was there ever worries in you that he wasn't going to come back to be a coach?
When they first told me he was leaving, I was like, oh man, like that. I was pretty upset about that. But then when he stood up and gave a little speech, and he's like, I'm coming back, like, just so you guys know, I will be back here like right after the NCAA tournament. And he was back here like right after the NCAA tournament, which is pretty awesome, like him sticking to his word. And I really enjoy honesty, or like value honesty. And like by him saying that, I was like, you're the guy, let's go. You know what I mean? So.
And you still train with him quite a bit?
Oh yeah. I train with him quite a bit. All my individuals are with him, and we usually go the day of competition, day before competition. So I'm wrestling with him a lot. I wrestle Simez usually early in the week. Once he's back on the mat, still as good as he was, even though he got double.
I was gonna say, so that's your tough day then? And then
yeah. Simez is my tough day. He gets my freaking back sore. Just pulling on my head 24/7.
Everybody talks about how wrestling Cam is a challenge, and he doesn't give any slack. It doesn't sound like.
No. And then you'll be broken or tired or something. He'll be on you, and you'll just go like, come on, get up in your ear. And it's like, God, come on, man. No, he's relentless. That's for sure. Powered by Tropical Smoothie.
Well, I mean, that's healthy, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
They what's it like wrestling in the new room? We kind of touched on this a little bit before we got you on with our technical difficulties, but what's the new room like?
Dude, it's awesome. It's like it's hard to even describe how awesome it is. I mean, the thing is I haven't utilized it 100%, but just like the mat space and just utilizing the wrestling part of it, because it's so much more than just the wrestling mats. You know, you have the lifting, you have all these different types of machines, you got bikes, you got spin bikes, you got the team room, you got academic room, the coach's office, training room, locker room. And the locker room's not even done yet. So it's like just the mat space is like just crazy. It's so much better, like so much better. It's unreal, really. I mean, it's hard to even like what I'm saying is still not going to be what it's going to be in like 2 months. You know what I mean? It's going to even be better. It's going to get better. It's not even fully finished yet, but no, it's pretty freaking cool. And I think it's going to help this program a ton. I mean, the thing was like in the first room we had to split up. And so you didn't really get to see your teammates that much. You got to see half of them. And also there was like 2 bikes in the first room. So say it was like a weight cutting day, you'd have to like sprint to the bike. Like you got to be the first one on there. You know what I mean? Or else you're not getting there. So like you would go in for breakdown, but you wouldn't actually be in the breakdown. You'd be like looking at the bike already before at the end of practice. And yeah, so just, it's a lot better.
Jim Poppin chimed in with another question. I'm not sure if you can read those, but he says, after listening to Coach Hahn a couple times, he is a fella that makes me want to run through a wall. He says, is that the feeling of all the dudes in the room?
Yeah, he can fire you up, man. I mean, the thing about Coach, like he doesn't say, like sometimes he runs full practices, but it's not all the time. So like he's like, for me, especially in my experience, like, he doesn't come up to me every day or like tell me things every day. But when he does tell me stuff, and it's like he still tells me stuff a lot, but when he does tell me stuff, it really like motivates you and gets you fired. Like after the Ohio duel, when I beat the kid like 10-0, and I was kind of holding my lead at the end, and I wasn't real happy about the match, and I like went off the mat, and he came up to me and he's like, dude, like you can be an All-American, like you can beat all these dudes. And like that, that kind of stuff, it just like, it really fires you up. And yeah, that made me want to like wrestle another match right there. I was like, oh, let's do it. But no.
Does this new room bring some new juice and energy to the team since it's opened here at the beginning of the year, since you guys have been in there? The dual scores have been 225 for SDSU and only giving up 27. That is 37.5 points per duel while only giving up 4.5. So we're only averaging 1 loss a duel right now. And the team is also averaging at least a major every bonus or every match. How does that feel with Hahn's big philosophy being bonus points matter?
Yeah, I think the big thing is just all the like everyone on our team. We're almost building that mindset that's like, hey, we're going to go out there and wrestle hard and score points. You know what I mean? And like even for me, like sometimes against the good kids, I mean, I hold back a little bit, but I'm really trying to fix that, and not just for myself, but for the team, like and the fans too. No one wants to see that. They want to see me go out there and like lay it all on the mat. And it's a process because wrestling is a lot of mental stuff, but I feel like right now the energy for everyone is let's go out there and scrap and wrestle hard for 7 minutes. And when that happens and when that's our mentality, I mean, I think the results show, just like you said, Jordan. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like that's the thing we got to stick to. And people are going to have their off days, but as long as we're holding the team accountable, even us and the coaches, having that consistent mindset, you know what I mean? Like in Virginia, we had that mindset, but maybe against Nebraska, we didn't have that mindset. And just having that mindset consistently, no matter who you're wrestling, I think is the important thing.
We got this question up here now from Ron, or not question, kind of statement or whatever, that Avery Allen, I believe, right? Yep, Avery Allen's coming to SDSU. I don't know if Cade can legally talk about this.
Probably
Since
can't.
I know like the coaches can. I don't know how wrestlers can, but yes, we did blame the kid that I know they're pretty excited about from Montana. That's a 3-time and has a chance to become a 4-time there.
Yep.
Sweet.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Always like getting those top guys. We've got a lot of them in the room. You've had quite the season so far. Is there been any matches you'd like to go back and get? I mean, you only have a couple of losses, so.
Yeah, I got one particular at Vegas, 3rd, 4th against Foca. I was up with 1 second left, and I let him go, and he got out and turned it into overtime. It took me down in overtime, and all I had to do was hold on to his leg for 1 more second. So yeah, that's not a fun one to lose. But
so that was a learning experience there for you. You're not going to do that again in the future.
I don't even know what that was, man. I walked off the bat. I was like, the coaches were just like, no one could believe it, because it's like I was behind him. All I had to do was hold on, and I just like, it almost was like I just let him go with 1 second left. But yeah. Just a bad brain fart, I guess. But that's the 4th kid. That's the kid's 4th in the country. You know what I mean? That's a win that could have put me way up in the rankings, even though I lost one early to Minnesota. But
like you said, everybody has a bad day, or everybody does that kind of stuff. So I mean, it'll happen. I guess just score more points earlier, huh?
Yeah,
easier said than done.
But yeah, it's that's the thing for me too. Is I feel like it's just going out and scoring points early, especially against the good guys. Because if you go into the good matches and you're in that mindset where you're like, okay, I know I'm just as good as this, so we're going to keep this close until the 3rd period, and I'm going to go get my takedown. You know what I mean? But if you do that, if you wait, it's just like you're leaving it up to chance sometimes. You know what I mean? You're leaving it up to chance. But yeah.
Your match versus Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
That was quick. Is all I gotta say. Like, you got slapped. I wish you'd come ref some matches for Tanner Cook and them at home sometimes. Like,
oh, dude, I don't like. That's another one where I was like, I mean, I know I'm right with that guy. I really do, but like I try to. It's called a no roll. Like when they get a double leg, you roll underneath them. I try to no roll, but he had my legs off the ground. And I rolled, and it literally looked like he slammed me, but like I rolled, and yeah, he just caught me on my back, and I was just like, I don't know what the hell I was doing or why I did that. I had a couple brain farts at Vegas. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, the 3rd, 4th was the worst one, but that stuff happens.
So overall this season, you've been doing pretty good. You got the DAC Open Championship. You got 4th at the Cliff Keen out in Vegas, even though you claim you've had 2 brain farts out there.
And you're 6-match win streak right now, all by bonus points, and 15-4 overall.
Yep.
Sound right?
Mm-hmm. Talking about scoring points, like 7-2 in duels. You got 5 majors, 2 techs. Like, if it's a decision, you're losing, but if you're scoring points, you're winning. It looks like.
Yeah, that's kind of the theme. And I mean, this weekend tomorrow I'm gonna have a top. I think he's 7th ranked in the nation.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is just another opportunity to test myself and really break that mental habit where it's like, this kid's 7th in the nation. Yeah, I don't care. Let's go out there and wrestle my match and score points. You know what I mean? And I feel like if I do have that mindset, like I will win. I'll win tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's really just having that mindset tomorrow. And when something happens, if something bad happens, just refocusing and keep wrestling.
I know the coaches always talk about bonus points, and as fans, we love to see the dual wins, but. Is your mind much on bonus points when you're out there, or just getting the dub, or just just scoring as many points as possible. Like, does that really come across much during the match that, hey, you know, if I get 3 more points here, I can get bonus points?
Yeah, I mean, in certain situations, but like, it also depends on the person. Like, you know, sometimes you're beating a good kid by, let's say 4 points, and it's the third period. And, you know, if you wanted to, you could, it might be hard. It might be hard as crap, but if you wanted to, you could probably try to go get a major, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's all those mental battles. Like sometimes it's like, hey, I'm up by 4 points. Like, let's just get the dub. And, for everyone, it's different. Like some people are all like, go score points. But, for me, I feel like it's a mix. Like sometimes it's like, man, I just want to win this match. And then sometimes it's like, oh, I need one more takedown for the major. Let me go get the major. But I think the right mindset is to go out there and try to score in all positions and score as many points as you can. I think that's the right mindset, but that's also the hardest mindset to have. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
They with your mindsets and everything like that, when you go into a match, how much does having Tanner Cook and how close the team is this year help get the crowd pumped before you go out, usually, like with the human highlight reel right before you?
You know, I'm going to be honest, it's not fun for me because I don't know when I'm up. I don't, it could be 30 seconds. It could be an overtime match, 9 minutes. And I never know when I'm up. So that's why if you ever see me, like normally I would have like a shirt or a sweatshirt or like my zipper up. When Cook goes out there, it's like I'm predicting 157 is my on deck match because like I don't know what Cook's gonna do, and I can't watch it sometimes because it's like if I watch it, you know, everyone's freaking out, and I don't like, you know, I can't like.
I'm trying to get into the right head.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't want like all the outside factors like affecting me. But like this weekend against Ohio, he was wrestling the Kent State or the Ohio kid, and the dude was like trying to rip his arm off in like it was a power half position. He was trying to rip his arm off, but like I couldn't stop watching. I was like, oh man, this is not good because it didn't look good on his shoulder. But like it's really hard for me sometimes because I just never know. It's like, oh, well, I guess I might be up in 30 seconds and I might be up. You know what I mean? It's just I can't really have a routine, I guess. I can, but I just I can't be like, okay, I got 7 minutes and I'm going. 7 minutes and I'm going. It's like, no, you might be out there in 20 seconds. So
that's so true.
But it's awesome. Yeah,
it is awesome. So, yeah, you got to wrestle the kid from Utah Valley. Like you said, he's mentioned he's like 7th intermat, and then you got the guy from Wyoming. Do you don't really look ahead a couple matches very often, do you? I mean, you're mostly focused on whatever your big match is going to be, right?
I mean, I'm focused on tomorrow, but I mean, I know who I'm going to have on Sunday, and but I'm really focused on tomorrow because, you know, this is a big match for me, and I mean, I say it's a big match, but really, I don't. I mean, it's just another match. You know what I mean? I'm going to go out there and wrestle hard for 7 minutes. So,
well, I mean, you got a lot of up and coming. I mean, you got Colorado. He's a 31. Air Force 21. Oklahoma State's always pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that kid's a 5. Oklahoma's a 21. Do you have any of those that you kind of circle that you're like, this is a guy that I've been this close to? I really want to get that guy. I mean, I'm not asking you to name names necessarily, but
I mean, I look forward to wrestling like the good guys. I mean, I wanna test myself, and it's always better wrestling the better guys because it's like, hey man, what do I got to lose? I mean, if the guys are on paper better than you, it's like, okay, I'm expected to lose this match. Like, let's go out there. I mean, you know what I mean? But I feel like the thing that I'm circling on my paper, you know, is the national tournament. I feel like that's just like, no matter what happens, like I could go, I mean, I probably want to qualify for the national tournament if this happened, but I could go 0-1 or 2 and freaking 28 during the season and All-American national tournament. And I'd be like, that was a great year. You know what I mean? That was a good year. But yeah.
Yeah, no. You can mute your headphones here for a second, Cade. We'll let the audience know this. But Cade does not have a match the rest of the season until the national tournament. That is not in the rankings. This kid has probably the toughest schedule after he's already wrestled the number 3 kid in the country, the 14th kid in the country, the 4th kid in the country, and the number 2 kid in the country. And 2 of them wrestlers, the Nebraska kid, which he lost 0-4 to, he is currently ranked 13th pound for pound in the country. And Lewis, which he got pinned to, he's number 3rd in the country, and he is 14th ranked pound for pound. So this kid has worked his butt off this year and the stuff that he's did. And out of his 4 losses, he does have the 1 pin, but the other losses have came from a loss of 7 total points. So he's always been in the matches besides the one night that he had a brain fart.
Brain fart. Cough it up to that.
I watched that. I was telling Jordan beforehand, I was literally in Vegas and went out there for a George Strait concert, and my wife wouldn't let me come over, and we were just down the block. And so we were like in a lull, and I was sitting there watching it, and I watched that. I'm like, oh no, Cade, what are we doing, man? Sorry to dwell on that, but Shane Rentz asks, what team do you look forward to wrestling the most? That's a writing question.
That's a good question. NDSU. You got to go with NDSU because, it's always packed in there. And we love kicking their butts. We love kicking their butts, especially last year. That was probably my favorite duel, was the NDSU duel.
Yeah, that's always a good one. They've been wrestling pretty good. I don't know if you followed them, but they've been wrestling real good.
They're ranked ahead of us, I think, right now. And
I think they are. Yeah.
Jackrabbit Nation does not like that.
No. Sounds like we might have a projected lineup change for SDSU at potentially 165. Connor Gaynor or Ryan Dolezal might end up wrestling, and also Sloan, they might be inserting Donnelly. So that's something to keep on the radar for the fans. Jordan?
That's coming up for this weekend there. Just with these new rules with red shirts and everything, give them boys a little bit of a break. And like Cade's mentioned many times, it's March that matters. But our first duel this weekend will be Friday. That's tomorrow. Utah Valley at 7 p.m. in Frost. Couple highlighted matches that could be potential. The first one could be a potential at 133. I see that this Hayden Drury would be versus Derek Cardinal. Hayden is currently ranked 29th by Intermat, but he has not been in the lineup lately, so I don't know if he's hurt or what. I did some digging, but could not find any information on that. But that could be a big match for Cardinal there. Another big match, we've touched on it earlier. Number 7th ranked Demetrius versus Cade himself. Cade, you just want to touch on this match a little bit, and if you guys have ever wrestled before or anything like that?
No, we haven't wrestled. I think last year he was medicaling, I believe. I think maybe he even went down to 60. I think he went down to 65 and then got hurt and never wrestled at 65. But I know the year before that he All-Americaned. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I'm looking forward to wrestling him and going out there and wrestling hard for 7 minutes and with the mindset of trying to score points and go up in the rankings.
Maybe this is a stupid question, but forgive me because I never wrestled in college, and I'm a football guy too. Do you guys study much film of your opponents at all? Do you ever watch their film to see if there's some tendencies you could maybe, or is that something the coaches kind of curate for you, I guess?
I would say it's mostly the coaches, because I don't know, like in wrestling, if you just study your guy, you're worried about what they're gonna do a lot of the time, and just having like the coaches will watch film and come up to you and be like, hey, this guy's going to shoot with his left hand, or hey, this guy rides legs on top. Just a couple things to where it's like, okay, let's be aware of that, but let's also wrestle our match. You know what I mean? Like, it's not where you're like, you're looking at like every shot he's ever taken, or you know what I mean?
Right. I was just wondering if they, point out some tendencies, or if you do that on your own. I know that continuing on for interesting matches, we have Evan Brockman versus Tanner Sloan at 197, and that's a 4-3 Vegas rematch. And
that went in Sloan's favor out in Vegas.
Yep.
I think Sloan's wrestling a lot better now, so that should be an interesting match to see. And then another match that's highlighted on the weekend or on Friday night is at 165, Daniel Snedeker versus Tanner Sloan. Daniel has not had a good season this year.
Cook, you meant.
Sorry, Cook. Sorry about that. Has not had a great season this year, but last year he did beat Cook 9-4. So this will be kind of a redemption match if Cook gets the chance. And it went all 7 minutes, so maybe Cade will have some time to
we'll see. Yeah,
warm up and see.
I ain't expecting that though. I'll tell you that. I ain't expecting that.
So building off that just a little bit, kind of a off the wall question here too is it, I know Tanner can't really be the guy, and based on what you said, but who on the team do you really like enjoy watching wrestle? Like, do you have one guy that like, oh man, when he's out there, I really want to watch Sloan or whoever? Or do you like the small weights, the lighter weights?
I mean, I would say I probably like watching Cook because he's exciting, but I also can't watch Cook. Yeah, if I was at a different weight class, I would like watching Cook. But yeah, Cook's always he's going out there and he's sending it no matter what it is. I mean, if it's a throw, a gator bacon, an elevator, whatever, he's going out and sending it. But I like watching Sloan too. Like Sloan's really fun to watch. I usually miss 84 just because I'm getting a cool down. But I mean, the thing about I like watching about our lighter weights is how freaking scrappy and tough they are. You know what I mean? Like TJ and Cardinal and Clay. I mean, those guys just like they will wrestle hard for 7 minutes and they will scrap for 7 minutes. And you're not seeing them give up ever. Like even if they lose, they're never giving up ever in the match, not even for a second. So it's like I really enjoy like watching that in our lighter weights, especially.
Right, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm biased, but I really like watching the big guys. And AJ's been wrestling.
Oh, AJ's fun to watch too.
I forgot about AJ. Real fun this year. Yeah, right. So don't sell that guy short, you guys.
I forgot about him.
Depending on where he is, and because in college they mess with the lineups. But Sunday we got the Wyoming at noon match, and again one of the highlighted matches we have here is an honorable mention at 74 pounds. Excuse me, I misspoke. Hayden Hastings, and looks like you're 2-0 against him, and both have been 3-point wins. So what's going to be your strategy? Score early, score often?
Yeah, my strategy is going to be try to score more this time, because that's one of those matches where I got off and I was like, I can score way more points on this person. So, and that's what my coaches say too. And it's like, yeah, that's the plan, right? It's like I don't want to just win this match. I want to dominate this match. So.
Another highlighted match will be at 125. Number 25 in the country, according to Intermat, Jorg Volk versus 26 Tanner Jordan. Volk is currently on a 3-match win streak, and he actually just upset the number 12 kid from Missouri last weekend. And he's from Minnesota, about 3.5 hours from Brookings. So I'd say that's kind of a match that he probably has circled himself. So Jordan's going to have to show up and grit that one out.
Grady Jordan.
Yeah. And then at 157, we have Cale Swenson wrestling number 13 based on Intermat, Jacob Wright. And that was a 4-3 match that Wright got him back in December. So I think Cale's wrestling really well right now. If that's a 1-point match, I'd really like to think that Frost makes a little bit of a difference there. I mean, Frost makes a difference for you, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's the thing. I think that the difference is I've done this for Cale, it might be different because this is his first year on the varsity lineup. You know what I mean? But
sure. Yep.
Frost is like, I've gone out to this mat, I don't even know how many times, but I've been there, and I know what's going on that mat. I know like what I'm going to hear, where things are. So it's like, for me, it's like, it's familiar, but for, the opponent, it's not familiar. So,
right.
I mean, that plays a big effect. But for Cale, I mean, he's been out there, so I feel like he's just going to get better and better out in Frost. But like, Cale is definitely more familiar with the environment than, his opponent's going to be. So,
and hopefully we have a pretty good student crowd tomorrow night, as that is the tuition giveaway. And then hopefully come Sunday, everybody gets up from the JWC raffle and drinks their morning coffee and gets their hangover rolled off and can get to Frost by 11 or at about 11 o'clock and get your 2-point fingers, foam fingers that they're giving out, and get to enjoy the Wyoming match. I know that we ran a 2 for 22 thing, but I believe that ended already, promotion. But hopefully a lot of people took advantage of that and got them tickets. Cade, I know that you're big that you've had the JWC help you do some stuff, and you wrestle a lot with the JWC. Could you kind of just explain what the raffle is like? They have till midnight tonight to buy tickets, and how that's all going to work and what it goes to benefit.
Yeah, so I think basically you buy a raffle, $250, and you get 2 people, and it's from 4 to 8 at Cubby's, and they you just go there, have a good time, drink some beer, eat some food, all on like the raffle pays, or the ticket pays for everything, all drinks, all food, and then you're going to hang around people that are interested in wrestling just like you. So it's going to be, meet some new people, make some new buddies to drink beer with the next weekend, or, whatever. But it's then they auction off some things that you can get. And I think at the end, the grand prize is like they auction off like $10,000. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's an auction though, right? It's just
a draw.
It's a draw. My bad.
There's an auction going on too.
There's an auction up front.
There is an auction.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good time.
I just threw a link in the I just threw a link in the thing for people if they want to check that out. Thanks, Jim, for asking for that.
And you do not have to be present to win. You can still buy the ticket. And in the past, they took a couple years off due to COVID stuff, but in the past, when your number gets drawn or whatever, when you come in, you get a number or whatever. And when it gets drawn, they'll either FaceTime you or give you a phone call, and you can pick your prize or whatever, however they do it. But so you do not have to be present. So even if you live in Florida and you're listening and you want to support the JWC this year with $250 and have a chance at $10,000, you can get on there by midnight tonight and get your ticket bought. And I'm going to say one more time, just because I know that it's on there this year, whose name should they put down, Cade?
This guy. No,
so what do you get then?
I mean, I don't. So I think there's like the top 3 people get money for Under Armour, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
so they're putting you down as the person that referred them, essentially.
Yeah, they're putting me down as the person to refer that. So I go up the leaderboards, and then you guys in turn are giving me Under Armour gear. So, I'd appreciate that. But yeah, this money, like it's really important. I mean, it funds like me going to Mexico, Sloan going to Worlds, and having those opportunities. It also, funds trips and things like that, and going to wrestle at the World Team Trials and all those things, staying at hotels. I think it also pays for, like, I think it's Coach Berge's position, if I'm not wrong. But
it covers one of the coaching positions, sort of, is what I understand.
Yeah, and he, that I just explained to you guys before, like, he's a guy that's like helped me tremendously, a lot. Like, him and Cam have really helped me the most, probably. And he's a guy that's getting paid by JWC money. So, like, all that's just to support him. And in turn, that that makes the program better. Like it really does. I mean, I don't know, but that's yeah.
So any final thoughts you'd like to share with those people out there listening?
No, thanks for tuning in.
Show up and be loud.
Oh yeah, show up. Now they sell beer in there, so go get yourself a beer. You know,
maybe I'll
It's
buy
counting down to 3
Jeremiah
years, so
beer
done
next
wrestling, so
time.
you can enjoy one with us.
oh yeah, get rowdy. We love it. You know, it's funny because on the sidelines, like I'm always chuckling at people like yelling stuff, and it's just so funny. It's hard. It's hard because like you don't want to, but like so it'd be like he's effing stalling or get him a pillow or something like that. I'm just like, oh my god. It's funny though. It's funny. I love that stuff. I really
Me and
bet
Chad
you-
never hear that or
No,
see any of that happen.
No.
Our
And
mouths
I've
always
never
stay
said
quiet.
anything.
yeah.
I've never said anything to make the people around me chuckle either. So, well, I suppose with that we get jacked on 3. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Get jacked.
Get jacked.